Hi and welcome to Element Z3. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and showering your love. Every minute like, subscribe, and blessings really counts a lot. With the blessings, let's start our fabulous science today. And in fabulous science, we are going to see fabulous forces. So, in fabulous forces, let's see which one we are going to delve deep into. Our aim is going to be to identify forces acting on objects. So I can identify forces as pushes and pulls. I can identify and explain the different forces acting on objects. So let's understand first and foremost what are forces. We must have used it in our daily life and often ways that we see. So force is nothing but just that it refers to as push or pull, or push and pull. These are the ones which are referred to as forces. Now if you look at the pictures below and talk to your partner about whether each picture shows an example of a pushing or pulling force. You can pause here and think for yourself what exactly is happening. Is it going to be a push situation or a pull situation? So, to dive deeper, first and foremost, let's understand what are forces. So, forces affect the movement or shape of an object. They can make an object start to move, stop moving, move faster, or move more slowly. Means all possible controlling aspects is something that forces is referred to. They could also make an object change its shape or cause a moving object to change direction. Imagine so many things forces can do. What is the name of the force pulling the skydivers down? Can you think of it? Think, think, think. I hope you've got the answer. If you're still thinking, kindly pause. Those who have guessed it, let's go and check the answer. Yes, it is gravity. When you throw a ball upstairs, up in the air, it comes down, right? Any object that is thrown up, it comes down. Similarly, for these skydivers, gravity is a pulling force exerted by the earth. The gravitational force, let's make a note. Gravitational force from the earth pulls in a direction towards the center of the earth. Gravity is pulling the skydivers towards the earth. Let's go to the next type. In this image, you can see that a force is slowing the skydivers down. This force is pushing in the opposite direction, right? It's in the opposite direction to gravity. Now you will talk to your partner or you can talk to yourself about what is happening in this picture. What exactly? I'm sure you're thinking. Think, think, think. Our thinking hats are on. If you have thought, let's go ahead. If you're still thinking, you may definitely pause. So it's air resistance. Indeed. Air resistance is the name of force that is pushing up against the parachute, right? It's trying that the gravity doesn't pull it. So gravity is pulling the skydivers towards the ground. However, they are slowed down because a force that is air resistance, okay? It is something which is going to not give it a gush to fall and stop with a slow motion. Pushes against the inside of the parachute and they may descend more slowly. Gravity and air resistance are opposite forces in this situation. All right. I repeat, gravity and air resistance are opposing forces in this situation. I'm sure you're making a note of the important things. As well as gravity and air resistance, there are other forces that can act on objects. What forces do you think might be represented by the arrows in this image? Again, thinking hats on. Let's think think. I'm sure you're thinking. Let's pause if in case you are still thinking. It's good to be sure. All right. For others, let's go ahead. So cyclists driving force, and you have friction. You must have seen there are small curves on the road that are made. Those are nothing but friction. Why do you have friction? Any idea? Indeed, you guessed it right. So that you don't slip, isn't it? So that your bike or your tires or your shoes, whatever it is, you just don't keep going on like you are on a smooth surface. You're not slipping on it, okay? Therefore, we have these frictions and your tires are not smooth end, right? It has those lines and edges and all these different things. What forces What forces do you think might be represented by the arrows in this image? Again, you see what is happening here? There are two arrows and you have the water where the kid is there. I hope you're thinking the hint helped you or reading again helped you. So man's pushing force is nothing but water resistance. It is, isn't it? First we saw air resistance. Now it is water resistance. All right. Let's go to the next idea. What forces do you think might be represented by the arrows in this image? Isn't it? You're seeing the arrow going from down and coming from up as well. Okay. So I'm sure you must have got by far what is your answer. If you're thinking, you may pause. Others, let's go ahead. So we have gravity pulling down, but the boat, why it is on the water is because of buoyancy. We repeat again, it's called buoyancy. All right. Buoyancy is a phenomena where it makes things float. Okay. When you swim, you're floating, right? That is nothing but buoyancy. So in many real life, you can actually use or correlate these forces. Let's go ahead. So in this example, the boat doesn't sink because there's a buoyant force. That is an upthrust, right? Which is created by the volume of water. It is the balance of the gravity and the buoyancy that keeps the boat floating. Absolutely. Like I already explained before the write-up came. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, we're going to identify forces, okay? Let's play the game and we identify different types of forces. I hope you're ready for the game. Let's start. Each person has an identifying forces bingo card with pictures of different actions on. All right, I'm going to attach the bingo cards at the end. You may definitely play the game. The actions have arrows to show the forces acting on the object pictured, but some names of forces are missing. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to choose a force card and say the name of a force. So if you have this force missing on one of your pictures, you can write the name of the force next to the correct arrow. You may be able to choose from more than one picture when writing the missing force. You may pause and read again for clear instructions or just to get the instructions clear. All right. When you have completed 3 pictures in a row, you should shout bingo. I hope you're ready to play this with your friends and your family to reiterate your science. Let's go ahead. So these are the pictures that I will attach, and which forces did you identify in the game is what you will tell me. Let's talk about forces. Okay, with your partner, you're going to read the story on Talk About Forces, Forces Activity Sheet. Highlight or underline examples of forces in the story. In the second column, you'll briefly explain the forces that are being applied in each example. Okay, it's important. So you see there's one example already done for you. The magician reached inside her magic box and lifted up a gigantic magic wand high into the air. The magician's force is lifting it up, that is, gravity is pulling it down to the earth. This is how the rest of the examples is what you're going to solve. Let's go ahead. Now we're going to talk about forces. Can you explain how some of the forces that you found were acting on the objects? Are you ready for the same? So here is the activity sheet towards the end I have attached. You may definitely go through it and solve, okay? Towards the end, it's asking you to draw the picture, all right? Definitely you can share your own example and accordingly you can do this. So here is the sheet for you that you will be solving. I'll leave you with this in order to reiterate or recapitulate the whole lesson that we have learned. All right. So I hope we could meet the aim, that is to identify forces acting on objects, identify the push and pull, also explain the different forces that are acting on objects. Thank you for staying tuned till the end. We'll come up with few more science examples and understanding. Till then, take care. See you.